In this video, we are going to do a plain weave again, but this time we're going to use the roving. This roving can be a really fun way to add texture to your weaving, and it typically comes in these big chunks like this, and so we don't necessarily want to use this width. So just think of it like string cheese and kind of pull the thickness that you would like, and then you just pull it right off. So we've got our piece. And then for the plain weave roving, whenever you're using something that's really thick, you want to take into account the width of your warp yarns. And so we want this to be really fun and chunky. So we are going to go, instead of over under every other warp yarn, we are going to go over 2 under 1. And this you'll just use your finger by simply just picking up the warp yarn. So every third warp yarn you're going under, and you just pull it through. Until you get to the end. And then again, making sure you're leaving a little tail that you can tuck in on the back side when you're all done. And so to help get that added texture, you want to make sure that you don't pull from your tail end. You're going to pull from where the slack is, and you just basically pull it and kind of bubble it up until you get your desired amount, like how thick and bubbly you want it to look. And then now I'm ready to go back. And so the same thing, we're gonna go over 2 under 1. But sometimes I like to just have a little anchor point on the end. So I'm gonna start right away with my under 1 over 2. And then because we're dealing with an odd number of warp yarns, it's not gonna line up as perfectly as the plain weave did with the other yarn. But that's okay, you'll kind of smoosh it all together and it looks fun. So same thing, we get to the side and then you just kind of pull. So now you've got the nice fun texture and fluff, and you'll have the little tails on the end. And just like with this yarn, once we're all said and done, we're going to be flipping the loom over and tucking these ends in. So the fun thing about the roving is it's a good way to add more texture to your weaving. So having, like, it's right here and right here, it just adds some fun, fluffy bubbliness. And then whenever you're using something that is thicker, sometimes it can manipulate the yarns, and also be in between each technique, we want to just build up some space in between each one. So now that you've got the roving done, go ahead and do 12 rows of plain weave, and then we will get started on the next technique.